Good morning everyone, welcome back to your maths class. And as you remember, in our last class we started the chapter Arithmetic Progression. We have seen some of the questions. Also we have seen the general term. This is your general term. If you remember that T stands for term, that is N for nth term, the general term, and the formula for that is A plus n minus 1 into d. And I hope you know that what is A. A is our first term, very first term of the progression. Then n is that term, whichever term we are talking about, 17th term, 6th term, 10th term, and d is our common difference. So this term expression for the general term we have seen. Also we have simplified some of the questions. Although we did our first exercise completely, but then I think this is one question left and I want to discuss this question with you all. It's a little different. Now let's see this question. If you see, it is written find three numbers in AP. That means there is an AP given. We don't know which AP they are talking about. You know that 2, 4, 6, 8 and so on. So this is an AP, like the common difference is every time same, 4 minus 2, 6 minus 4 and all. So we have to take three terms in AP whose sum is 15. The sum of those three terms is 15 and the product is 80. So whenever they are asked you to take three numbers in AP, four numbers in AP, so how we take? There are always a way. Like since they are asking you to take three numbers in AP, so let's say one number in AP is A. Okay, one number. Let's say we have supposed to take three numbers. Let's say one number is A. Okay, now you know as that in AP we know whenever we add common difference to one term we will get the next term. Like if I have one term 3 and the common difference is 2, so what will be the next term? That will be 5. What will be the next term? That will be 7. What will be the next term? That is 9. How are we writing? Because we know that the common difference is 2, so every time the difference should be 2, or whenever we add the common difference to one term we will get the next term. Are you getting it? So if we are having one term as A, how can we write the next term? It must be A plus D, because one term is A, then the next term would be A plus D. Okay, and then if I ask you what would be the term you can say preceding to A, like if I have one term 5, if I add 2 which is a common difference, it will give you the next term. If I subtract 2, that will give you the previous term. So if A we are adding a D, that is a common difference, we will get next term. If we subtract D, we will get the preceding term. And that's how we take three terms in AP. And always when it is asked you to take three terms in AP, we take these three terms: A minus D as our first term, A as our second term, and A plus D as our third term. So they are asking you to take three numbers. We have taken three numbers, and let these three numbers are in AP. Okay, are in AP. Okay, now we have taken. Now let us see the next part of the question. Whose sum is 15? That means these three numbers which we have taken, the sum is 15. Sum means that A first number plus second number plus third number. So first number is A minus D, plus second number is A, plus third number is A plus D, and their sum equals 15. It is according to the first condition given. So now if you see, when we are writing this and getting this condition, here we have minus D and plus D. So we can cancel it. It is A plus A plus A will give you 3A equals 15, or simply A equals 5. So from our first condition you get this A equals to 5. This is your according to first condition. Now second condition is product is 80. That means these three terms, the product is 80. So I think we have taken our information. So let's see. Product. We have taken three terms. They are asking you to take the sum. We have taken, it is equals to 15, and it is coming according to this A which is our first term, coming 5. Now their product. That means the first term, which is a minus d, into the second term, which is a, into the third term, which is a plus d. So here we have written the product and it is given equals to 80. Okay, so this is the condition. Now let us proceed further. Okay, now remember that our first term is coming 5. Now let's see what we are getting from the second condition. Okay, now see, since these three terms are in multiplication, now we can apply this. In one bracket you have a minus d, in one bracket you have a plus d. So this is kind of a minus b and a plus b, which is a square minus b square. So when we take these two brackets together, it will give you a square minus b square, isn't it? And into a equals to 80. Is it okay? And since we know that the value of a is coming 5, just now we have simplified, so we can put the value of a here and proceed. So a is 5. If we put the value of 5 here, it will give you 25 minus d square, which we don't know, so we will write d square like that, and then we have the value of a as 5 equals to 80. Okay, now we have to calculate the value, that's this d, the value of d. So it is in multiplication, it will go there in division. So that will be, we are left with 25 minus d square. It will go to that side. 5 upon 5 will be 16. Okay. Now we have to calculate this d square. We are left with this d, 25 minus d square this side equals 16. So it's simple that I am going to take this minus d square that side and I am going to bring 16 this side. So that means 25 plus 16 will come here, it will be minus 16 equals minus d square. When it will go to that side, it will be d square. 25 minus 16 will give you 9 equals to d square. Is it okay? And now when you take this thing, when you calculate the value of d, you are having this d square equals 9. When you calculate the value of d, it will be root of 9. Is it okay? Now then you will get the value of d as 3, and not only 3 but plus 3 and minus 3. Is it okay? That you have to write that both plus and minus. There are possibility you can take plus 3 and you can take minus 3. So this is the value of d coming, and see the value of a is coming 5. Okay. Now since we know whether we can take plus 3 or we can take minus 3, so now we have to write the AP as well. So which three terms we have taken? If you remember, we have taken first term as a minus d, second term as a, and the third term as a plus d. So we are going to put the values and we'll calculate. So let's take a as 5, and first let's take this d as plus 3. So when you take 5 minus 3, which are, because we are taking d as plus 3, so 5 minus 3 will be 2, then a is already 5, and then a plus d, that is 5 plus 3 would be your 8. Okay, in case if a we are taking 5 and d we are taking plus 3. Now what we can take? We can take second part, that a is 5 only, but we can take d as minus 3. Okay, now if you take d, a 5 and d as minus 3, so let us put 5 minus d is minus 3. So when you put, that will be minus 3, because we have a minus and d is minus 3. So it will be 5 minus and minus of 3. This will be a is 5, and then we have a plus d, that is 5 plus d is what? Minus 3. So now if you see, this minus will give you plus. So 5 plus 3 would be 8, then it is 5, and then eventually it will become 5 minus 3, which is 2. So in either case, if you see it is coming 258 or 852, either case the terms are coming same. It is just in one case it is in the increasing order, ascending order, and in other case it is the descending order. So this is the condition which we have taken. So this was one question left. I thought you should see, whenever you are asked to take three terms in a given AP or in any AP, you have to take the terms like a minus d, a and a plus d. Now, So that was there in our first exercise. Now let us see our second exercise. And what is there in our second exercise is that in our second exercise now we have to find out the sum of n terms. See, when we talk about the term, the general formula for the term is Tn, that is a plus n minus 1 into d. Tn, that is term, that is the, if I write T7, that would be, I am talking about the seventh term, that would be your seventh term. If I write T10, that would be your 10th term. Now here we are talking about the sum of all those terms. If in case I write a very simple arithmetic progression, let's say 2, 4, 6, 8 and 10. Okay. So here if you see, we have how many terms? 5 terms given. If I ask you which is the third term, so it will be 6. So that is in our first exercise. Now but if we are talking about the sum. Sum means the sum of all the terms. If I ask you what is the sum of two terms, first two terms. So first two terms are 2 and 4. What will be the sum? 2 plus 4 would be 6. So sum of first two terms would be 6. Sum of first three terms, that is first three terms are 2, 4 and 6. So what would be the sum? That is 2 plus 4, 6. 6 plus 6, 12. So the sum would be 12. If I ask you what is the sum of all 5 terms, so that means 2 plus 4 plus 6 plus 8 plus 10. So that would be the sum of 5 terms, and that is what it is meant, that what is the meaning of sum. That means whatever sums are given, they are asking sum of n terms. N means it could be anything. Sum of 8 terms, sum of 20 terms. So I think you are now getting what is the idea of sum, to find out the sum. And to find out the sum, there is a formula which you can apply, that is Sn. Now see, earlier we were using Tn, that is for the term. So whenever it is said a term, we will use the general term, we will use Tn, that is term. Now here we are going to find out the sum. The notation is Sn, and the formula for that is n by 2, but whichever term we are talking about. In a bracket it is 2a, you know what is a, plus n minus 1 into d. Okay, so this is the formula for sum, that is n by 2. In bracket it is 2a, a is our first term, plus n minus 1 into d, d is our common difference. Okay, but that is, this formula we can apply. But in any case, like if we are given with the last term of AP, as we know, like 2, 4, 6, 8 up to dot dot, and they have given last term as 20. So this is your arithmetic progression, which is a finite progression. You know the first term, which is a, you know the last term also, and last time we have learned that the last term we have learned that the last term is denoted by small n. So this time you know the first term, you know the last term, so the formula you can use as, it is simple, n upon 2 a plus n. This also you can use. So 1 plus, first one is this, and second one is Sn equals to n by 2 a plus l, where a is your first term and l is your last term. These two formulas which we are going to use to calculate the sum. I hope you are getting when we say a term. If I write an AP, when we say a term and when we say the sum, if I write an AP, let's say 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. So this is an AP. If I ask you what is the sum of first three terms, that means we have to take these three terms and we have to find the sum, that is 10 plus 12 plus 14. So what is the formula for sum? Just now we have seen that the formula for sum is n by 2, 2a plus n minus 1 into d. In case we know the last term, the formula will be n by 2 simply a plus n. So this is what our formula is. Now let's see some of the questions. In a question that is, they are asking you to calculate the sum of the given AP up to 12 terms. That means here they have given an AP and they are asking you to calculate the sum up to 12 terms. 12 terms you have to take and then you have to sum them up. Okay, now if you see in this given AP, the first term is minus 11, then the second term is minus 7, third term is minus 3, and so on. To calculate the value of the sum or 12 terms, we know the general formula is Sn. Whatever term we are talking about, we'll take the value of n as it is. Here in our case it is 12. The value of n would be 12. N over 2, it is 2a plus n minus 1 into d. So this is our formula. Now let's put the value. We have to find out the sum of 12 terms. So it will be S12. The value of n is 12. So S12, we are calculating the sum of 12 terms. Now here it is n by 2. N is what term? So that is 12 upon 2. 2 into a. A is our first term, that is minus of 11. We will take the term as the terms are given with the sign. So it is minus 11 first term, second term would be minus 7, third term would be minus 3, plus n minus 1. N is our 12, so 12 minus 1 will be 11, and into d. D is common difference, that is second term minus first term or third term minus second term. So here the second term is minus 7 as you see, minus first term. To calculate the common difference, first term would be minus 11 as it is given. So now minus 7 plus 11, that would be plus 4. That means the value of d is coming 4. So it is simply 4. Now sum of 12 terms would be 12 upon 2 would be 6. Now this will give you minus 22 and plus 44, isn't it? Now just simplify. Here it is sum of 12 terms equals 6, and then we have 44 minus 22, that would be 22, and when you multiply it will be 132. That means for that given AP, the sum of 12 terms, they are coming 132. So here is our next question. They are asking you to find the sum of all 2 digits number. You have to write all the 2 digits number, which numbers which are divided by 5. So you have to write the numbers, 2 digit numbers which are divided by 5, or you can say divisible by 5. So first we have to see how many numbers are there. So I think the very first 2 digit number which is divisible by 5 is 10. 2 digit number, it is 2 digit number and divided by 5, and I think it is a very first number. Okay, now second number would be 15 divided by 5, then 20, then 25. I think now you know the pattern. 25, then we'll write 35, after that 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, and so on, and we will be writing it up to 95, because we will not write 100. 100 is 3 digit number. We have to take all the numbers 2 digit numbers. So these are all 2 digit numbers which are divided by 5. Now since we know that which of the numbers they are talking about, and now all the numbers. So if you write the numbers and if you see all together, the numbers would be 18. You can write them and you can count them. The total number would be 18. Total in number. That means the value of small n would be 18. Altogether how many numbers are there? 18 numbers would be there. And we have to find the sum of all 18 numbers. Are you clear with? You see, in the first term we know these are the numbers which are divisible. These are the 2 digit numbers which are divisible by 5. Now if you see how many numbers are there, 18. So that means the value of small n is 18. We know how many numbers we have to add, 18 numbers we have to add. Now the formula which we have to apply, one formula is n by 2. 2a plus n minus 1 into d. Otherwise here if you see, we know the first term, also we know the last term. First term is our a, last term we denoted by l, if you remember. So we can apply the other formula which we have learned, that is sum of the n terms as the formula is n upon 2 a plus l. This formula also we have learned when we know the first term and when we know the last term. So it's better to apply this formula. What is n? N is 18. Altogether how many numbers are there? 18 numbers. So n would be 18, a would be our 10, and the last term is 95. Okay, now let us put the value. So we are calculating sum of 18 terms because there are 18 terms. Now n is 18 over 2. A is what? That is the first term. It was 10. And the last term we have written 95. So S18, that is sum of 18 terms, would be 9. 18 by 2 would be our 9. And this will be 10 plus 95 would be 105. Now when you multiply, it would be 945. So the sum of 18 terms, it is coming 945. Here we have our next question. If you read the question, a sum of 2800 is to be used to award 4 prizes. That means there are 4 prizes. The sum of the money for all 4 prizes is 2800. Okay. Now if each, I have underlined this, it is the condition given. If each prize after the first is 200 less, that means that each prize, let's say our first, there are 4 prizes, let's this first prize as X, then the next prize would be 200 less from each preceding one. So if first is X, the next prize would be, or the next price, the money for that price would be X minus 200, as it would be 200 less. Then what about the third price? As they are saying that each price is 200 less from the preceding one. So it is X minus 200. Now the third price will be 200 less from the preceding one. Preceding one is X minus 200. When you subtract further 200, it will be X minus 400. That's how it is our third price. And what about our fourth price? That is X minus 400 minus 200. That would be X minus 600. Every time you just have to less 200 from each price, and that's how we have all 4 prizes. Now after that, these are the money. That is, first prize is for rupees X, second prize is for rupees this much, third prize is for rupees this much, and fourth prize is for rupees this much. And in the very first line they are saying that the total sum of the money is 2800. That means this plus this plus this plus this would be 2800. So now we can write, let's see, first price X plus second is X minus 200, third is X minus 400, and the fourth one is X minus 600, and the sum is 2800. According to our question, the sum of the money is 2800. So we have added all the money for the 4 prizes, and then it is coming 2800. Now let us simplify. This is X plus X plus X, as they are all in plus, so we can simply add them. X plus X, 2X plus 3X plus 4X. So it is simply 4X. Okay. Now minus 200, minus 400 and minus 600. So we eventually have to add them. So it will be, I think, minus 1200. You can simplify. Okay, it is 2800. Now I think after that you can simplify. It is 4X minus 1200 will go to that side. It will become plus 1200. That would be 2800 plus 1200. That is 4000, I guess. Okay. And when you simplify, the value of X is coming 1000 rupees. That means the value of first price is coming 1000. What was our second price? The value of our second price was X minus 200. What is our X? 1000 minus 200 would be, first price is coming 1000. And as the second price we have taken as X minus 200, since each price is 200 less from the preceding one. So 1000 minus 200 would be your 800. Then what about the third price? The value for the third price is X minus 400. 1000 minus 400 would be 600. And then after that it would be 1000 minus 600, that would be 400. And you just to check, you can see if the total sum is coming 2800 or not. Yes, it is coming 1000, 1800, and then this is again 1000, that would be 2800. That means the solution is correct. So we have our next question from the exercise. That is, if I read the question for you, the question is nothing, it is just a word problem. You just have to understand what it is saying, and then, so here is our next question. This is a word problem. Here if we are going, this is our next question, and it is our word problem. So here you just have to find out the AP, and then after that it will be easy. Now here 200 logs. Logs, they are talking about that piece of wood we are taking, you know, that piece of wood people cut and use. So that is the log they are talking about. I think that's how. So this is a log, a piece of wood. Okay, 200 logs are stacked in such a way, they are putting 200 logs in such a way that there are 20 logs in the bottom row. They are arranging the logs, and in the bottom row, how many logs are there? 20 logs. So let us write that in the first row there are 20 logs, and in the and 19 logs in the next row, and above that they are putting how many logs? 19. After 20 they are putting 19 logs, and after that they are putting 18 logs. Okay, in the next row, and so on. That means in the very bottom row they are putting 20 logs, and after that they are putting 19 logs, after that they are putting 18 logs, and that's how. That means in the next row they must be putting 17 logs, and so on. And total logs altogether would be 200. That means if we talk about that total log and so on, we don't know how many stacks or how many rows are going to be there, so we just write, we don't know. So but we know that the total would be 200. Is it clear? If I explain you once again, that they are saying there are 200 logs in total. That means total we are having 200 logs of wood, and then we are arranging them that in a very bottom row we are having 20 logs, and above that in that row we are having only 19 logs, and above that we are having 18. So with each row they are reducing the number. So 20, 19, 18, 17 and so on. How many rows they are forming, we don't know. So that was the question, is you have to find out how many rows they are forming and how many logs are there in the top row. So they have 200 logs, so they are putting all together. You have to find how many rows are going to be there, and in the very last row what will be the number of logs. Is it clear? So as we have written our information, let me write it here properly, that in the first row we have 20 logs, then in the second row we have 19 logs. It is just that we have written, and then 17 logs and so on. How many rows are there, we don't know. First row, for your convenience if I write, this is your first row, this is your second row, this is your third row. That means first row 20 logs, 19 logs, 18 logs and so on. And total of the logs, like total sum of the logs is 200. Are you getting this thing now? Now we have to calculate how many rows. So first row, second row, third row, how many rows are going, we don't know. That means eventually we have to calculate the value of n, that is number of rows. Or here if we talk about in terms of AP, so first term, second term, third term, fourth term, fifth, how many term we don't know. That means we have to find out how many terms, that means number of terms, that is n. And then eventually when we get to know how many terms are there, then we have to find out the value of the last term, because they are asking you to calculate how many logs are going to be there in the last term. So first let us calculate the value of small n. Okay, now since it is the sum of the term is given 200, so if I write the information sum of the term, that means total they have given 200 logs. What is the first term? These are the information I am writing using this. First term is 20, and what else we know? We don't know the last term, so we cannot use the formula n by 2 a plus l. We will be using the formula n by 2 and in bracket 2a plus n minus 1 into d. We also want d. So here if I ask you what is the common difference, that is 19 minus 20, that would be minus 1, isn't it? 18 minus 19, that would be minus 1. So this is the information. Now let us apply the formula and calculate. Let us apply it here. Sn would be n by 2, formula is 2a plus n minus 1 into d. Is it clear? Now let us put the value n by 2. So how many terms are there? We don't know. So it would be simply n by 2. essence, sum of the term, we know it is 200. So it is 200 equals n by 2. N, we don't know how many terms or how many rows are going to be there. So it is n by 2 only. Then we have 2a. 2 into a. A is what? The first term, which is 20 plus n minus 1. N we don't know. We have not calculated it yet. N minus 1 into d. D is our minus 1. Is it okay? So that's how we have put all the values, and now let us simplify. In order to simplify, if you see, this minus 2 isn't, this 2 isn't divide. So we can bring this 2 here and it will come here in multiplication. So 2 into 200 would be our 400 equals n. Then we have 20 into 2 would be our 40 plus n minus 1 into minus 1. Okay. Now here if you see, 400 equals n, 40. Here it is plus minus minus, and 1 into n minus 1 would be your n minus 1 only. So it will be n minus 1, and I will be writing this n minus 1 of course with the in the bracket. Okay. So here 400 equals n. Now if I open the bracket with minus sign, it would be minus 1 and it would be plus 1. Is it okay? I think you know how to simplify. So here it is 400 n. 40 plus 1 would be 41 minus n. Is it okay? Now here it is 400. Now when we open the bracket, this would give you 41n as when we multiply, and this plus minus minus and n square. N into n would be your n square. Is it okay? This, if you see here, we are getting power 2. So actually what I am doing is that I am bringing all the terms to the LHS. So when minus n square will come this side, it will be plus n square. Okay. Now 41 is with plus sign. When it will come here, it will be minus 41n. And already we had this 400 in the LHS, so it will be 400, and that side it would be 0. Now if you see here, it is now a quadratic equation. In order to simplify quadratic equation, we know how we do that. We take the constant term and we factorize the constant term, and then we split it into two numbers to get the middle term. Like if I solve 400, when you write the prime factorization, it would be 200, then 100, then 50, then 25, then 5, and this. Now these many numbers we are getting, you have to arrange these numbers so that you will get 41 either when you add or subtract. So let's take, it will be, you take these all terms, that is 2 into 2 into 2 into 2, that would be 16, and here it would be 25. So 16 plus 25 will give you 41, and 16 into 25 will give you 400. So it is coming 16 and 25. But we do not want plus 41, we want minus 41. So of course we will take minus 16 and minus 25. So minus 16n minus 25n plus 400 equals 0. In case you don't remember, this we have learned in factorization. I think this was your 4th exercise where we have learned this. Okay. Now since they are even in numbers, so we can pair them and we can take common. So here if you take common, that n is common, because here both the places we have n, so we are left with n minus 16. Here what is common? Minus 25. 25 we can take common, so it will be n minus 16 again equals 0. Again what is common? It is n minus 16 and n minus, then we are left with n minus 20y equals to 0. So this is what the conclusion we are getting. And you remember that we have learned zero product rule, that if we are getting two things or two brackets in product, and if we are taking two brackets and the product of these two numbers or bracket is 0, that means the zero product rule says either this bracket will be 0 or this bracket will be 0. This also we have seen in our class 9th. So see, in this case we take either that 9 minus 16, this bracket would be 0 or this, then only the product is coming 0, no, that this is called zero product rule and we have learned. So n minus 16, if n minus 16 is 0, you don't know which one is 0. So if n minus 16 is 0 you take, then the value of n would come 16. Or if you take this bracket as 0, that is n minus 25 as 0, then the value of term would come 25. Is it okay? It is coming 16, the rows are the value of n is coming 16 and 25. That means the rows could be numbered. If you remember that n is our number of rows or number of terms. Like our first term is 20, the next term or the row is 19, has 19 logs, and the second one is having 18 logs, and so on. So this is first row, this is second row, this is third row. So these are the number of rows. We don't know how many rows are there, so we are going to take both the answers and then we will see. Okay, but you need to remember that with each row we are having the number of logs less in number, one less in number. In first or very bottom row we had 20 logs, but in the very next row we have 19 logs, in the next row we have 18 logs. So with each row the number of log is one less. Okay, so n is coming 16 and n is coming 25. So there could be 16 rows or there could be 25 rows. And now the next question was, either if it is 16 row, so in the 16th row what are the number of logs, how many logs are there? Or eventually if you talk in terms of arithmetic progression, first row, second row, third row, fourth row, and so on. So first row, how many logs are there? 20. Second row, how many logs are there? 19. Third row, how many? 18. So whether you say how many logs are there, or you eventually in terms of AP you can say what is the value of the first term? 20. Value of second term? 19. Value of third term? 18. That's how if we are taking total number of, or the how many rows are there? 16. So value of 16th row or value of 25th row. So that means we have to calculate the value of term. That means we have to calculate either T16 and T25, and then we will see. And I hope you know how to calculate T16, which I am going to calculate quickly. T16 can be calculated by the formula, the term, that is a plus n minus 1 into d. So T16 would be a, the first term, that is our 20, plus n minus 1, 16 is our n is 16, so it would be 15 into d. If you remember d 20, 19, 18, so d is actually minus 1. So it is 20 minus 15, it is coming 5. So 16th, the term of the 16th term is coming 5, or in the 16th row the number of logs would be 5. So there would be 5 logs placed in the 16th row. Okay, now let us talk about if there are 25 rows. So what is T25 coming? Again the formula, a plus n minus 1 into d. So what is our a? 20. N minus 1, what is our n? 25. Minus 1 would be 24. And then we have d as minus 1. Okay, so here we have 20 and this will give you minus 24. So it is minus 4. Now if you see in our 25th row, if we take that there are 25 rows, so in the 25th row it is the value of the term is coming minus 4. Of course we cannot take this because there cannot be minus 4 rows. It can always be a positive integer. That means it is number of logs. It could be 1 log, 2 log, 3 log, because it is a piece of wood. You cannot take it in negative. So that means this value we cannot take. This value is, we can discard. We should discard this value. And if we are discarding this value, that means this also we cannot take. So eventually we are left with the idea that there will be total 16 rows, and the last row, the 16th row, there will be how many logs? There will be 5 logs. So your answer will be, the number of rows will be 16 and the value of log in the 16th row would be 5, and that's how we have checked our answer. Hope you have understood the questions. If there is any problem you can ask, and please practice. I will give you the questions as well Just remember that when we write Tn or whatever T16, T10, that would be the information for the term, the 16th term, the 25th term. And when we talk today, we have learned about the sum. Like if I write S10, that means I'm talking about sum of all 10 terms, and for that we have learned the formula. So please solve the questions and just see. You all solve the questions and see, practice a lot, because now this is it in our arithmetic progression, and hopefully in our next turn we will start our next chapter. So before that you need to practice this arithmetic progression, because it was completely a new chapter for you all. So in order to understand it, you need to practice a lot, and then we will meet our next class.